heard this chilling nursery rhyme. But behind the gruesome words lies a story far more complicated. I'm Jennifer, and today we're diving into Sharon Pollock's play, Blood Relations, a haunting reimagining of one of America's most notorious murder cases. But here's the question Pollock wants us to ask. Was Lizzie Borden truly a cold-blooded killer? Or was she a misunderstood woman trapped by the rules of her time? Blood Relations, written in 1980, is inspired by the real-life events of 1892, when Lizzie Borden was accused of murdering her father and stepmother with an axe. Despite a sensational trial and overwhelming suspicion, Lizzie was acquitted, and the mystery of what really happened has never been solved. Pollock's version doesn't aim to solve the crime. Instead, it uses the stage to explore deeper truths about storytelling, justice, gender, and how society judges women who dare to step outside the roles they're assigned. One of the most striking features of Blood Relations is its theatrical structure. The play unfolds as a kind of memory game between Lizzie and an actress who reenact the events leading up to the murders. We, the audience, are never told whether what we're watching is real or imagined. And that's exactly Pollock's point. Truth is never simple. Through this blurred line between fact and fiction, Pollock invites us to question the very nature of truth. Is it something objective and fixed, or is it shaped by those who tell the story? Lizzie's world was one where women had very little power. They were expected to be silent, obedient, and dependent. Lizzie, however, refused to accept those constraints. She was intelligent, independent, and outspoken, qualities that, in the patriarchal society of the 1890s, were often seen as threatening. Pollock uses Lizzie's defiance to explore how women who don't fit the mold are often demonized. Was Lizzie violent and unstable, or was that the label society gave her because she refused to remain passive? The play also explores the theme of domestic oppression. Lizzie's relationship with her stepmother was tense and controlling, and her father held strict control over her life and future. Within the suffocating walls of her home, Lizzie was trapped, a prisoner in her own life. Against this backdrop, the murders become symbolic. Whether Lizzie committed them or not, Pollock suggests that this story is really about a woman's struggle for agency in a world determined to silence her. Lizzie says, "I am innocent, but I am also guilty. Guilty of wanting to live." These words capture the heart of Pollock's vision, that the real crime may not be murder, but society's refusal to let women control their own lives. And Lizzie's story isn't just history, it's still deeply relevant today. Even now, women who resist authority, speak their minds, or refuse to conform are often labelled mad, dangerous, or unfeminine. Lizzie Borden forces us to confront uncomfortable questions. Who decides what's true? Whose stories are believed? And when a woman fights back against injustice, is she a criminal or a survivor? Pollock's play reminds us that truth isn't just about evidence, it's about perspective. And history is often written by those in power, leaving others, like Lizzie, voiceless. In the end, Blood Relations doesn't offer a clear verdict. It doesn't tell us whether Lizzie Borden was guilty or innocent, because that isn't the point. The point is to look deeper, to see how women's stories are twisted, how truth is manipulated, and how power shapes justice. Lizzie may or may not have swung the axe, but she did refuse to be silent. So, was Lizzie Borden a murderer or misunderstood? Maybe she was both. Maybe the truth isn't in the blood, but in the courage it takes to claim your own story.
Morality. An implicit question within the plot of the play is Lizzie's murder of her parents justified, while murdering is undoubtedly a punishable crime, no matter the content of the playwrights, which is often unhelped as one of the more unthinkful murder in history. So the way of morality is highly subjective, and sometimes it is unhelpful, while Lizzie's murder act can be harder by calling moral. Next one is family. Lizzie here is a victim of a family that does not care or nurture her. She wanted so badly to be loved and nurtured by her father, but her distraction and sometimes abuse. Her stepmother cruises and doesn't understand Lizzie. More awake what? To compete of Mrs. Burden, financial and personal attention. Lizzie's uncle, engraved man, who seeks a financial control over her. Finally, Lizzie's sister Emma is a loyal but weak-hearted, never seeks to get closer with nor understanding her sister. So next one is Lizzie. Lizzie would never combine the horrific act, center of the play, that murders her parents. The play explores the debates of unhappy family, that facts of some family harm their member rather than nurturing and helping the member thrift. Next one is truth. So actor asks the Lizzie, "Did you do it?" and tries to her hardest to get an truth out of Lizzie about the murder of his parents. Lizzie's sister Yama also fixed on the question to Lizzie actually killed her parents, and she asked many times while Lizzie wanted to murder as it happens. She never quit the caps whether she committed them. The play begins after she had to be a crime and tried of her. Thus the question of truth become an. Next one is performance. This is the play within the play itself. Lizzie confidently that actor plays with her performance of this event lead up to Lizzie's parents' murder, while actor performing as a Lizzie, and Lizzie plays a maid role, and Pollock chooses the stage event of his murder in the performance. Why within the play, this itself further alienates the audience from the objective truth of the scenario. The performance allowed the audience to embrace with the Lizzie to understand how everything happened with her, while also making an entry even that much make a misery. Performance is means through which Lizzie can be shaped and her experience turns into something that it once understand the harshness of many other factors by the artificial of the stage. Next one is bell jar effect. So Lizzie instantly is born out of the fact that she is completely cut off from the outside world. Having elected to marry, Lizzie has confident herself to the family, which has only limited her freedom in choosing not to be all her power to be her husband. Lizzie has effectively chooses ceded all of her power to her father. This has this effect on Lizzie, who became completely out of touch with the world at large, leads her to commit the murder. So next one is being a lady.
Being lady. One of the things that separate Lizzie from her family's expectations of her is the fact that she is bad at being a society lady. Lizzie's forthrightness and boldness are not considered ladylike, and this is part of what everyone resents about her, including her own father. While there is an affection between Lizzie and Mr. Borden, he is also wary of her more androgynous traits. In a stage direction, when Mr. Borden is trying to level with his daughter about being better behaved, this failure to live up to others' expectations of her own femininity causes Lizzie a great deal of anguish. In several monologues, she discusses the fact that, growing up, she always had scabs on her knees from being outside, which others told her made her fail to live up to the way a lady ought to behave. This expectation plagues her in adulthood, as she fails to live up to the standards of a woman of her class. remaining unmarried, and wanting to have a career and control of her own finances. Abuse, another element of Lizzie's life that leads the audience to better understand Lizzie's plight, is the fact that she lives in an abusive household. Her father hits her several times, strikes a hatchet into the table in rage, and kills her beloved pet pigeons in front of her. These acts of violence against Lizzie are what make her so angry with her family and lead her to become violent towards them. In staging Lizzie's abuse, Pollock shows the audience that Lizzie's acts, while far more violent than abuse, are partially retaliatory. Mr. Borden and Mrs. Borden. Mr. Borden is Lizzie's father, a man who is constantly torn between his wife's and Lizzie's wishes. He is very rich and has a large estate, but is referred to as miserly and cheap throughout the play. He is scared of Lizzie, and while he feels great affection for her, wishes she would be more of a conformist and try and fit in with society. He is an abusive man who is driven to hitting Lizzie and harming her beloved pigeons in order to prove his patriarchal dominance. Lizzie Borden is the protagonist of the play. Here, she is living alone with her sister and carrying on an affair with the actress, who comes down from Boston to visit her. She is very squirrely and ambiguous about her part in her parents' murders, even though everyone believes that she did it. In the reenactment of the past that she does with the actress, she plays Bridget, the Irish maid who worked for the Bordens. Emma is Lizzie's older sister, who is rather meek and does not like to get in the middle of conflict. While she shares many of Lizzie's gripes with their father and stepmother, she does not want to rebel with the same ferocity that Lizzie does. After the deaths of their parents, the actress is an actress from Boston who comes to visit Lizzie in Fall River, and with whom she is alleged to be having an affair. She is a little afraid of Lizzie, and Lizzie suggests that one of the reasons that the actress even has a career is because of their relationship.